50 years from now.
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to English Audio Lounge. Today, we're going to discuss an interesting issue that has been widely discussed on the internet. What will be essentially non-existent today, but prolific in 50 years.
Ah, that's a great one. It's a fascinating thought experiment, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, think about how much things can shift in just half a century.
Exactly. The classic example everyone brings up is the cell phone.
Right. A total rarity just a few decades back. And now, well, we barely function without them.
It's practically an extension of ourselves.
So our goal today is really to explore some of these potential leaps forward, give you a quick look at possible future tech and societal changes.
Aiming for those aha moments, maybe, without getting too bogged down in the weeds.
Exactly. A shortcut to thinking about what might be next.
And that cell phone parallel is striking. It really highlights how fast something on the fringes can become completely indispensable.
Makes you wonder what's cooking in labs right now that could explode like that.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's dive in. One area that always gets a lot of buzz is organ cloning and bioprinting.
Right. Big potential there.
We're seeing steps already, aren't we? Like, I read about cloning teeth successfully at Cambridge University.
Early days, but promising. And there's definitely optimism that, major organs could be commonly, created within 50 years.
Imagine that. The whole awful wait for a transplant just vanishing.
It's transformative if you think about the medical implications. Generating organs on demand, whether it's cloning or maybe more realistically, bioprinting.
Bioprinting seems more likely, maybe?
I think so, potentially.
Yeah.
It could totally change transplant procedures, not just ending wait lists, but if you use the patient's own cells.
Then you might get around the whole immunosuppressant drug issue.
Exactly, which, as you know, can cause a whole host of other problems for patients.
And someone online pointed out, the current system often relies on tragedy for donations. This tech could make that obsolete.
That's a profound thought. A massive societal shift.
But then you get into the ethics, don't you? Cloning whole humans just for organs feels, wrong to most people.
Definitely. And there's history there, funding bans in Europe back in the 90s, stem cell research controversies in the U.S.
So 3D bioprinting seems like a different path, building organs layer by layer.
It does offer a potentially more ethically palatable route. Yeah. You're creating the needed tissues and structures, not duplicating an entire organism. It avoids some of the really deep moral objections.
But it's not easy, right? I mean, growing a whole working organ.
Oh, incredibly challenging. The complexity, the scaling up from simple tissues, it's a monumental task. Think about getting the blood vessels right, the vasculature.
The plumbing, basically.
Exactly. Researchers are working on things like sacrificial bioinks to create channels, but it's slow going.
And funding is always an issue, I imagine.
Absolutely. Moving from breakthroughs in the lab to something you can actually use widely in hospitals needs sustained investment and, time. But the 50-year horizon, it's exciting.
Okay, moving on. Another really intriguing idea. Companion and assistance robots.
Robots in the home.
Yeah, becoming commonplace. Helping the elderly, people with disabilities.
You can see the need, right, with aging populations globally.
Totally. Imagine robots helping with cleaning, maybe cooking, even just providing conversation for someone who's lonely.
It could genuinely improve quality of life, help people stay independent longer.
And it's not just homes, is it? The discussion mentioned robots in light industry, maybe cafes, repair shops.
Yeah, potentially streamlining things, allowing for wider menu options perhaps, or making local manufacturing more feasible. Easier repairs too, maybe.
And then there's that really long-term vision, robots making robots.
Ooh, that's a big concept. Self-replication.
It implies this huge diversity of specialized robots constantly evolving. It could fundamentally change what we even think is possible.
A self-replicating robot ecosystem. Implications are massive. Exponential growth in automation, maybe driving down costs significantly.
And the companion aspect, too, robots, for people who are maybe socially awkward or just need support.
It touches on technology's role in our social and emotional lives, which is a whole other fascinating and maybe slightly unnerving area.
Definitely. Okay, slightly different tack now. Professional curation services. Also, data archivists, internet historians.
It's like trying to manage the information tsunami.
Exactly. There's just so much digital stuff. The idea is having experts help us sort through it, make sense of it.
It speaks directly to information overload. Algorithms try to personalize feeds, but they have limits.
Echo chambers, for one.
Precisely. So human expertise could offer context, identify what's really important, give a broader view, and archivists preserving this digital deluge for the future. That seems crucial.
Like a librarian for the internet, almost.
Kind of, yeah.
But the question was raised online. Will people actually pay for human curation when AI keeps getting better at personalization?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Can it be a mainstream business?
Does the human touch critical thinking context outweigh the convenience of algorithms?
The value proposition would have to be clear. Reliable, unbiased, thoughtfully organized information in a world that's, well, increasingly noisy and algorithm-driven.
Okay, let's switch to something more tangible. Home energy storage. Batteries.
Yes. Pairing with solar panels, especially.
Seems like a natural step, doesn't it? Homes having their own power storage, leading to a more decentralized grid. More stable, maybe?
Absolutely essential as renewables become more common. Store that solar energy when the sun's shining, use it later, increases independence, reduces grid strain.
And there's talk about alternatives to lithium-ion, right? Like sodium batteries.
Exactly. Sodium-ion is a big area of research. Potentially cheaper, more sustainable materials, especially for stationary storage like in a home. Less reliance on lithium.
And it's not just dedicated batteries, is it? Electric vehicles could play a role.
Oh, definitely. Vehicle-to-grid or vehicle-to-house tech. V2H or V2G.
So your car battery could power your house in an outage, or even help balance the grid.
That's the idea. EVs have pretty big batteries. They could act as distributed storage, adding a lot of flexibility to the whole energy system.
Wow. Okay, now for something that really feels like science fiction. AI assistants and neural interfaces.
As common as smartphones today. That's the speculation.
Imagine AI help just integrate it into your thoughts.
It's a profound shift in how we'd interact with computers with information. Neural interfaces are early stage, obviously, but the promise is that direct brain-AI link.
Meaning physical tech, keyboards, screens might just disappear for a lot of things.
Potentially, yeah. Information straight to the brain, interaction via thought. It's revolutionary.
The learning curve must be immense, though.
Oh, for sure. But one idea is that AI itself could help with that, assisting with neuroplasticity, our brain's ability to adapt, making it easier to learn how to use these interfaces.
AI teaching us how to use AI brain implants. That's meta.
It is a bit, isn't it? And further out, maybe even genetically grown interfaces.
Right.
But that's really speculative.
Okay, let's touch on advanced 3D printing. It's already doing amazing things, but the potential seems huge.
Right, we see prototypes, even houses being printed now.
But the future vision is like printers that can make almost anything. Food, clothes, furniture.
Even potentially those bioprinted organs we talked about, or replacement parts for appliances, cars. Highly versatile fabrication devices.
On demand, personalized, it could totally reshape manufacturing, logistics.
The 3D printed houses are a good current example of where it could go in construction.
It starts to sound like Star Trek replicators.
Well, maybe not quite that universal yet due to basic physics, but the trend is definitely towards more sophisticated, accessible, localized printing.
More customization, less waste, maybe shorter supply chains.
Exactly. Printing parts at home when something breaks, that changes our whole relationship with consumer goods.
Okay, nanomedicine. This always sounds futuristic. Tiny machines in your bloodstream cleaning arteries.
Yeah, that's the popular image. It's often discussed for age-related issues.
Is it realistic, though? Nanobots swimming around?
Well, the term nanomachines might be a bit misleading currently. We're already using nanoscale materials and drug delivery systems. Think targeted therapies at a molecular level.
So it's happening, just maybe not tiny submarines yet.
Precisely. It's more about precise action at the nanoscale. Diagnostics, drug delivery, eventually maybe more complex tasks like tissue repair. It's a long-term goal.
Fascinating. Then there's gene alteration for health. The Gattaca comparison comes up a lot online.
Understandably, gene editing tech like CRISPR is already showing potential for treating some genetic diseases.
But using it more widely for prevention, that opens a huge ethical can of worms, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Equity, unforeseen consequences, massive societal discussions needed there.
Right. We need the right frameworks in place. Other things mentioned were lab-grown meat becoming normal.
Yeah, for ethical and environmental reasons.
Yeah.
A potential alternative to traditional livestock farming.
And full VR dives, like advanced headsets plugged into the brain for super realistic experiences.
Total sensory immersion, taste, touch, everything. Could revolutionize entertainment, training, communication.
And then the big societal shifts. Universal basic income, UBI.
Comes up a lot in discussions about AI and automation potentially displacing lots of jobs.
Is it the solution if we reach post-scarcity, or just a way to cope with unemployment?
Big debate there. Different economic perspectives, ideas about universal basic services instead. It's
Well,
complex.
It's some wilder ideas, too. Atomically precise manufacturing, ancestor booths.
Yeah, building things atom by atom or interacting with AI simulations of ancestors based on data. More speculative, but interesting.
On a more hopeful note, simpler cures for cancer.
Definitely progress there.
Yep.
Immunotherapy and other targeted treatments are making strides. So yeah, hope for more widespread, simpler cures in 50 years seems reasonable.
Then human-free businesses, like hotels run entirely by AI and robots.
It's possible. Raises questions about the future of service work, obviously.
And implantable brain-computer interfaces, like Neuralink, augmenting our minds.
Huge potential, but also huge ethical concerns. Control, hacking, access.
And finally, energy again. Small, modular nuclear reactors. Fusion.
SMRs for localized, safer nuclear power seem plausible. And fusion, if achieved at scale, would be a total game changer for clean energy.
Plus, AI-powered personal drones doing errands for us.
Another intriguing possibility, wearable drones fetching things, providing info.
Wow, okay. That is a lot of potential change.
It really is.
So, just to recap quickly. Big shifts possible in biotech, like organs and genes, robotics and AI becoming deeply integrated, sustainable energy breakthroughs, new ways to handle information.
Yeah, the scope is enormous.
Yeah.
It suggests the world in 50 years could look profoundly different. As different maybe as today looks compared to 50 years ago before smartphones took over.
So here's that final thought for you, our listeners, to chew on. Thinking about all this, which potential future seems most likely to you? Or which one would impact your daily life the most?
And maybe think about the unexpected ripple effects, too. Technology always brings surprises.
Absolutely. Food for thought. That's all today, folks. Have a nice day.
Thank you for listening to English Audio Lounge. We hope you have enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more audio stories and video classes to improve your English.